You can attack everything.
You need to get things done.
This is different.
All right, guys, welcome to another episode of Millennial Dadz. We are here. No, it's been a minute, but it's always good to be back in my buddy's garage.
Yeah, it's been a minute, and this one seems a little bit special because we actually got our wives in the background right now.
Two beautiful wives here in the garage with us, doing a little bit of the back of the behind the scenes.
Producing it.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. Not in front of the camera, but behind it for sure.
Yeah. Definitely giving us the look.
Yeah. So, what's your plans for the summer this year, Steven?
A lot of activities. Want to be at the park most of the days. You know, hopefully jump in the pool. Got a community pool at the house. So yeah, man, trying to stay cool and stay out of that heat because I'm there for most of the time.
Yeah, working construction and shit.
Yeah, working construction. But hey, you know,
is Esteban gonna go into any tournaments or no?
Right now I'm just trying to get him a little thicker, trying to get a little stronger. Trying not to make it too much of him being a pro yet. So still trying to let him enjoy being a kid, but we still get those push-ups in, still get them pull-ups in, and trying to work on his reading, man. You know, it's hard to excel in one thing and you fall behind in the other. You know, so definitely want to work on that reading. He's going into third grade, so he's pretty stoked. We're all pretty excited. So it's cool, man. It's gonna be interesting, but he's still itching, dude. He wants to go to practice, so eventually we're gonna go. I want to get back in the room, so yeah, we'll probably be there once, a couple times throughout the summer. That's what I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, we're already gonna be busy as shit with football.
Yeah.
Well,
football's year round for you guys, right? It's like life or death right there.
Not necessarily life or death, dude. And for him, we actually, we had the graduation thing today, but it's more so of like a reclass ceremony for him. Yeah, because he is reclassing. But when me and my wife we saw the kids that were actually going to their freshman year. Dude, they look like grown ass men.
Really?
Yeah, it was gnarly.
Hitting that TRT or what?
I have no idea, but there was one kid that was like, I'm not gonna lie. He was on the FBU team, but the older kids with Isaac, and I saw this kid on the field, and he would manhandle Isaac, toss him around. He tossed the whole team around. Really? And he was massive. Yeah.
5 o'clock shadow at 12 years old?
Yes.
Sick.
Like, I'm not even joking. It was crazy.
Yeah,
they
dude.
They shaved them just to make them look younger.
They're slipping in creatine in those bottles, bro.
Yeah, seriously. It was crazy. But, I mean, it's more so the summer camps, conditioning, getting familiar with the team, everything like that. As of right now, it looks like we're going to be playing for North Long Beach because FBU, that whole team, that all-star team that we traveled to Florida with, is going to come together and be like a super team.
Nice, dude. That sounds cool.
Yeah.
Seems like a lot of competition.
Yeah. And, I mean, we still want him to have fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's a balance. I want him to be a kid. I don't know if you saw, but you're in the garage, obviously you saw it, but we ended up buying him an e-bike and all kinds of shit too. So
yeah, and it's amazing too. It's fun, dude. I'm flying down there, dude. I'm like almost 200 pounds, and it's like, ooh, I was like, dang, I gotta get me one of these.
Yeah. The goal is by the end of this year is everybody have one.
Yeah, you don't want to have too much work and then not enough fun, Yeah,
so there's an extreme balance.
Yeah, and it's tough. It's a thin line, because you are still a kid, but at the same time you want to train to be the person who you want to become.
Exactly.
So yeah, that's cool, man.
However, we have been noticing Isaac fall off a little bit with the consistency in training, because he was always itching to go out and train and go out and train and going out and train. Yeah. And since we got the e-bike, he's probably trained how many times, babe? Maybe twice. Which I don't mind because since
refreshing.
Yeah, I mean, he's still strong, dude. I just grabbed him.
Well, he hits however, he has been hitting the gym with me.
So he is consistent with that.
Yeah,
he likes hitting that grind on.
Be training to gym sessions at night.
There you go.
Something, but I don't think he benefits as much from the gym as he does with agility, personally.
Yeah, because he has the size and the thickness already. He's slow.
But still, he was waking up wanting to go train. Now he's waking up getting his shirt on so he can go ride.
Hey.
And that was an adjustment. I was like, whoa. But it also reminded me, he's 14. He's a kid.
Yeah,
And
he's
it's
a,
always good
he's a
to
kid.
change like
Yeah.
the scenery that you do, so
Yeah.
you can get different, step away from what you're actually doing.
Exactly.
I don't know about you, but like whenever I stepped away for a while, like for example basketball or the gym, and I came back, I felt better.
Yeah, you feel like
I
you
felt
kinda
stronger.
like,
Yeah.
I missed this, or
So yeah.
And I don't
break.
like with you in wrestling, me football and baseball. It was go baseball, 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 football, 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 baseball, 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 football, football, football. And I tell Mariana all the time, I didn't really have a childhood.
Yo, you say that too, huh?
Yeah, I mean, we were definitely involved in sports at a young age. We got to wrestling late, but we also did football. We played soccer. We played baseball. So yeah, I mean, it did keep us busy though, man. We didn't get in trouble, unless
Yeah.
we were creating it.
Yeah.
That's
true.
so
You can't really define childhood as one specific experience. I think childhood is it can be anything.
But the level at what Isaac wants to play at and the level that he's at now and the age that he's at, it's all business.
you don't want to digress. You
It's
don't-
all business right now.
you don't want to retract on that, which you've gained.
Exactly.
Yeah, for
You
sure.
It's
know
all-
that too. Coming in September 1st, it's all business and then once he gets into high school, it's another level. But I mean, going back to what you guys were saying, you didn't have a childhood. You did have a childhood. It just looked different from mine, from Vanessa's, from the neighbor next door,
And from our kids, for sure.
from
And the
your
crazy-
kids.
and
Like,
the-
it's always gonna look
And the
different.
crazy part is like Isaac asked me all the time, like, what was your biggest enjoyment? And believe it or not, it was jumping on my bike. If I could tell you my childhood is like I was always with older kids and I was jumping on my bike. I tell Isaac all the time, the freest that you're ever gonna feel is jumping on your bike in the dirt.
Yeah.
Or just riding on the street. He was like, "What about the street bike?" I said, "No, dude. A dirt bike or a bike, there's nothing like it. You're like, I was like, watch when I get. He's got his. He's learning how to ride it. I was like, watch when I get mine and we start jumping and I start teaching you how to jump. You're gonna go, wow, like I get it.
Yeah. I mean, I jumped on it for 10 minutes and I was already addicted to it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, for sure.
It's definitely
it's
addictive.
fun.
I think maybe
Yeah.
it's just like a different thrill for him because he's so used to one specific one. It is different.
It's a
He's
different
like,
type of adrenaline,
"Oh,"
too.
Yeah, it's a different. Yeah.
How do
We
you?
gotta get Vanessa on the bike. If we can get
Dude-
her on the bike,
Dude,
she'll be
I
sold,
had
and then we can
Vanessa.
all get e-bikes.
She rode with me on my dad's bike and she was all scared. It was pretty funny.
Mariana loves being on the back of a street bike.
Yeah, she got it. She got on it like 2 or 3 more times off of it, but
Mariana enjoyed it so much she started learning how to ride it,
really,
like on her own.
Epic fail.
you dropped
Epic
the bike.
fail. I couldn't get the hang of it.
The clutch.
Ah,
much
you
as I
get
loved
it.
it,
Have
And
you?
even on a regular in a car, like I could never understand the clutch or any of that. Like it just wasn't my thing, and that's
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. Some people get it, some people don't. But that's why I like the e-bikes. Like I was telling you guys inside,
gotta
like
do
there's no
that.
clutch.
Oh yeah, great trainer bike.
It's
yeah.
torquey as shit. I looped it.
Dude, yeah, it was fun. Yeah, I was turning and I was like, man, it brought me back to riding, dude. I miss riding,
But yeah, yeah.
right? I kind of miss it, dude. And
Yeah,
it's
like
like,
a sense of freedom in a way.
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, I got ran over a number of times, so it's different.
that would be a good reason to
Your
stop.
freedom's a little different.
Yeah, street bike is different, but I will tell you this: I'm way more careless on a dirt bike or a bike than I am on a street bike.
Right?
I was like,
Yeah.
you do not want to get me a dirt bike because
I remember my first time and my brother's first time where I was on the quad, my brother was on a dirt bike, and he just like flung it up, and the bike landed right on him.
yeah.
But he got back up and he rode it though. So hey, more power to him.
That brings me to a question: do you think guys, like parents now, when it comes to their kids that are athletes, do you guys see parents being too much sports, and not enough childhood?
Yeah, absolutely. It becomes like they're professionals before they're even able to read a book.
And I've
Yeah.
seen it personally. When I was younger, I was a cheer coach, and you would see little girls like really getting into it, like 5, 6, hitting the steps, and then there were just the ones that were just moving the wrist, and because they were just there because their mom wanted them to be there. So I can tell, like, okay, like she's ready. Like I'm gonna put her in the front,
Yeah.
so she can show out. And now, like she's just here because her mom wants her to be here,
Yeah.
and then I'm gonna put her, in the middle somewhere. So you can definitely like tell the difference of like what they're bringing that day.
Yeah, for sure. Some kids do gravitate to any sport or activity quicker than others. And some people are just naturally in love with it, So,
Yeah.
yeah, definitely when kids show out, I mean, it's good to I don't know, to praise it and put him in the front and give him that kind of time. So that's cool that you did that. That's pretty cool.
I know, but I mean, because me and Mariana will see it sometimes where their kids are forced to play football, and that's like the most dangerous.
Yeah, kind of like
Yeah.
Vanessa though. Like they're
The mom
cheer,
is putting them
football, basketball, badminton, golf, chess, whatever it is. If a kid doesn't want to do it and the parent is forcing them, you're gonna get the same base. You're gonna get the same energy. You're gonna get the same reaction.
And the parents, they act on it. We seen it straight on the mat when little Esteban was wrestling the kid and the other kid was losing. So Esteban was, kicking ass. And the dad's like, get up, get mad. And I'm like, what? Like, get mad, get up. And then I'm just like, damn, my
Sir,
kid
would
is
you like
killing
to
this
trade
guy.
places with your kid? Because
Yeah,
it looks
like, my
like
kid is
you're the one that
killing
wants to
it.
be on the mat right
So
now.
what you're saying is the dad's living through the
Yeah,
kid.
so I'm like, oh, whoa. Like, and
Damn.
the dad, the kid, you can see, like, the heartbreak because his dad's yelling at him. You can kind of feel like, damn, I don't want to lose because then that means my dad loses.
That's so sad because there's so much
I
going
never
on.
thought about that, dude.
I mean,
No, we seen it, and I told him, like, right
Max,
after we left,
it
I'm
is
like,
a little
Dad
different,
was
Max,
a
when your
little
son's
much.
out there and he's versing another
Yes.
son and their dads are out there on the side of the mat. It's kind of gets kind of intense, bro. So, I mean, obviously football is a team game, so you kind of
It's different. My dad didn't give a fuck about wrestling, so he wasn't like.
Obvi, but if you
It's-
think about it, what they're seeing right then and there, if we really want to go a little deeper into that, into seeing those dad being that intense with their kid, and their kid is kind of like, I'm losing. And
Yeah,
this
but
guy's like,
yeah.
just trying to get something out of it. I don't be real psychological about this. What you're seeing is that, like, that Freaky Friday moment where the dad wishes he could just switch with the kid for a day, because there's obviously some kind of regret that the dad feels from his life, from his childhood, that he wished that he could be in his son's position. And the son just wishes he could have the freedom to just do what actually makes him happy. But
Have you
knows
ever
that
been in that type of situation? Have you ever felt like you?
a Freaky Friday moment?
Yeah. Have you ever felt like you want to be in your son's shoes?
No, but I have felt him figure it out and go from I don't think I want to do this to wow, I'm actually really good at this. I can become great.
Okay.
So,
so
there's
I-
a thin line that I think you're
seen
talking
that,
about
and,
right now.
and if you take a no as an answer from your kid, then nothing really will ever happen. And because at some point you do gotta force them a little bit,
Yeah, but
And-
then, like, that dad telling that kid, get mad. Like, this kid is 7 years old. What is he going to be mad about?
Again,
Yeah.
Someone
before
took
you
his
step on that
football?
mat,
Sounds
you
like he's got
gotta
a pretty
live
good
with
life.
the
He's
result.
mad about something.
Yeah.
I think I thought about that as a mom. I was like, what is he mad? Yes, he's probably mad because he's losing, but the dad, I saw it like, okay, the dad's helping him, trying to get, build up anger to get mad and perform better.
But why not use technique instead of emotion?
Or
Well,
just
look, I go-
train better, like be better.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, it's not even like that. If you're putting too much pressure at that point, if you're going out there and like, oh, I can't lose, that's a problem.
Yes.
I go there and tell my son, go have fun. Don't worry about winning and losing. Just don't give up. That's all I care about. If he loses,
Do
he
you?
loses. Just don't give up and keep trying until, the whistle is blown. Because if you just give up, then it looks like you don't care and then you don't want to be there.
But earlier you made a good point. There is a fine line that you mentioned, I think without saying that exactly, between helping your kids push through the adversity versus just letting them give up or telling them no, they don't have a choice.
Yeah.
Because kids don't
Thank goodness.
understand what it's like not to give up just yet. We have to teach them to not give up. And I think that's very important. But we as parents, we need to understand there's a fine line between how to teach them to not give up and when to like realize maybe this is not for them or I'm doing too much as a parent.
Yeah, and
You
that's
know?
and that's true. I haven't on the football field. I can't speak any more highly than when it comes to Isaac and his attitude and how he does things. However, when it comes to his academics, so me and Isaac had a deal. Okay, this is gonna correlate with giving up. I had a deal with Isaac. If you got straight A's, I'll get you your Suron, which is the e-bike.
Okay.
For whatever reason,
Did you wait till the end of
He
the
got a
year?
B.
I should have waited.
But you didn't.
I didn't wait.
He got you, Dad. He got
Okay.
you.
I didn't wait because all last year it was about Juju and her quinceañera, right? And me and mom, Mariana, my wife, we promised like, hey, we'll get it for you next year. Okay. That being said, we're in this year. Things happened, finances, this, that, and the other. We weren't able to get it in the beginning of the year, but I landed, with
You had a great opportunity to be able to provide that.
yeah, I got given the opportunity to be able to provide more, which we talked about, kind of doing my thing.
Yeah, which is awesome.
Truly blessed on that one. And for whatever reason, I was like, hey, let's go to the shop. And because I was with the client at 3:00 in the morning, and this dude responded. I was like, oh shit, this dude might actually be legit. Hey, let's go to the shop. We ended up going to the shop, looking at it, and we ended up getting it. Long story short, Isaac finished with 1B.
Ooh, gotcha.
Now,
But now,
I don't
to
think that
be-
is as relevant to what we were talking about.
No,
as opposed to our daughter.
No,
our
hold
daughter
on.
has a very different story.
No, but hold on. But we got on Isaac's ass, and we were like, hey, dude, you had 3 weeks. You've had that bike 3 weeks before you graduated.
Why didn't you tell me?
Why didn't you do extra credit? Why didn't you put in extra effort? Why didn't you do this? He gave up. And the reason why he told me is because he was like, oh, I didn't think it was really going to happen. I said, but you still had 3 weeks. He was like, well, it was kind of a lot of work. And, I kind of gave up.
Well, maybe he would have pushed it.
Exactly.
He didn't have the bike in front of him.
No, exactly. And that's my fault. However, it lets me know, okay, he may not push himself when he needs to when it comes to academics, but he's willing to do it physically, but he's not willing to do it mentally.
Yeah, but you don't know if God, and here's the thing though, too. Like, you did it with the bike, but in real life circumstances, who's to say that, God isn't going to bless you right when you need it, and he's just going to give up
That's
instead
my
of
point.
pushing through.
That's my point.
Because we all know we go through the hardest things before we're blessed. That's because the blessing is going to get blocked, if we don't, stay faithful.
Because you guys know what we went through last year.
So it's like it's one of those things where,
Yeah.
honestly, I think we did fail as parents. I should have put my foot down and been like, no, because you were so eager to bite and get that bite. We should have never got it. We should have let him really fought till the very end. And I think he would have appreciated the hard work he did versus, oh, my parents gave in 3 weeks in. I don't think it matters no more. He's 14. Like, let's be honest here,
Yeah.
He's not dumb. So personally, I think as parents, I think we failed. We fell short.
Yeah.
So wait, let me ask you guys something. So you're saying he almost had straight A's and he had 1B.
Yeah.
And 88.9.
And this is coming from a kid that would get all B's and 1A.
I know, but Max, have you ever gotten straight A's in your life?
Never.
Have you,
Nah,
Mariana?
Never.
So it
And
seems
that's
like he's doing a lot better than
6th
you two.
grade. Maybe like
Right?
6th grade.
But that's not the
about
point.
it. Yeah.
So wait, he told you guys he was gonna get straight A's.
Yeah.
Yes, we agreed to it.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, that's
That
falls
was
on
the
him,
agreement upon,
Exactly.
and that's the thing. That's the thing, though.
man. Yeah,
And this is what I love
you
about
open your
sports.
mouth, you gotta lay in your bed. So
Exactly. And this is the thing about sports. This is what I love about sports.
Juliana, honors,
Hold on.
straight A's.
But
That's awesome.
No,
guys.
it's
That's
different.
awesome.
She's a girl. She's be smart.
No, hell no. Has nothing to do with being
I
a
don't
girl.
know. I think
And let
girls
me
are a
tell
little
you why.
smarter. The white
Okay, let's
chromosome
move
No,
over
she
to that
puts
little
in a
girl.
lot of work, dude.
that gives us the men. It just makes us dumb. For
Just
some
as
reason.
much as Isaac puts in work on the football field is how much she puts in her education.
That's good.
Exactly.
That's good, man.
Anybody is capable. Okay, first and foremost, it's just where your intention draws.
I honestly didn't learn how to study until I was out of high school.
I never
still
did.
don't know how to
So
study. Okay.
I actually think I got a lot better, but
School is never really for me. It's not for everyone, but it was made for that little girl. And that's because she is very control the controllables. I can control school. So I'm going to thrive. She has a harder time in different areas. Our kid with Juliana, sports was not her thing. And it was one of those things where like, come on, you got to push. Going back on that fine line, right? Whether you help your kid push through adversity, when is it enough? When is it not?
Yeah.
In her case, it was very different. She felt the pressure to thrive in sports because her brother was thriving, right? And so she wanted to please. And we would tell her, don't do it for us. Do it because you want to.
yeah.
to the
But
point where
obviously
she got
that's still
alopecia,
not
dude.
enough.
Well, she wants to be part of the family. She sees you
Well,
guys.
Me and her had a
Like-
talk, and we had a talk, and she opened up to me at the dining room table, and I said, "Are you doing this to please me, or are you doing this for yourself?" And she blatantly told me she wanted more attention from me, and I told her, I was like, Juju, you see, I'm over here coaching. I come to your practices later. You're not gonna get more attention from me because I'm split no matter what. I said you're stressing yourself out to the point where you're losing your fucking hair.
Well, it wasn't.
And we love you no matter what.
Exactly.
That wasn't
Yeah,
even
yeah.
the case, though. I think you're stating it completely different.
I think she was doing it because maybe she did want to spend that time with you.
Yeah,
Even if it's
yeah.
a certain amount of time, or you coaching her, or you just seeing her play, or just being there at practice. It just
Here's
like,
the
did
thing:
something
she
to her.
did like it. She did like it. She did enjoy it until we switched her over to a club team. She wanted to play at a higher level, and which was fine. But we chose the wrong team, and we didn't know that at the time. That coach put so much pressure and was so negative that kids started dropping out,
Yeah.
and she would stay. And that guy was damn near on borderline of psychologically, verbally
Abusive.
abusing these girls,
Yeah.
you know, to the point where it's like, if we don't parent like that, why is it okay for him to coach like that?
I got pissed.
You know what I mean?
To the point where I got pissed and I wanted to talk to him.
It was so bad that her body responded, and what did it do? It took a toll on her immune system, which then attacked her hair follicles, and that's all I'm gonna say. For lack of risk, because I want to respect her privacy.
Yeah, and that can happen to anybody. It can not only be sports. It can be work.
It can be
It
work.
can be finances. It can be just insecurity.
But it just goes to show that
You know.
stress is not how do I
To
say
take
this?
in lightly.
It doesn't care how old you are.
Yeah, no.
You know what I
It
mean?
does not discriminate on
It
age,
is.
color.
Thank you. It
yes.
does not discriminate. Stress does not discriminate.
I think it was a great learning experience for her, no matter what, because she gets to see how much stress she can handle or how to react to certain
It's
things.
definitely a lesson for sure. She can see how much she can push herself mentally and physically.
What her body, what she can
How much her
tolerate.
body can
But it
take.
goes to show too, kids don't take well to a constant verbal beatdown, you
Yeah.
know. And as parents, back to what you were saying, do you help your kid push through that adversity? And we did do that. At first, we'd be like, it's okay, don't listen to him, try to ignore that. Why? Because at some point in our lives, we are gonna have to deal with that at work. We're gonna have to deal with that with family.
Life.
People always talking crap. Like, you have to learn to not be so sensitive, quote unquote, and to kind of like learn to push those words, outside. But then it got to the point where we're like, oh shoot, her body is responding to that. We need to step in as parents, and we need to do what's best for our child, not what's best for what we want to see,
Yeah, 'cause
right?
it's affecting her.
Exactly.
It's affecting her.
So to pull her out completely and have her recover beautifully in such a quick time, it's just.
I was so happy for her.
Yeah, it made us so happy, and it also taught us something, that our kids are not all the same, and it's okay.
Yes.
They all thrive very differently in
Yes.
very different avenues. And yes, she is an academic little genius. She reminds me of the show Smart Guy.
Dude, I'm not gonna. She talks about going into military intelligence and all that stuff. And the crazy part is, dude, is I see her fucking thriving in that.
In the
And
military.
Isaac
I'm not
completely
joking.
envies her in that,
She probably
because
would.
Isaac suffers academically.
'Cause
he
Kiana
has
thrives
to
in
really
it.
work for it.
She's so good at it, bro.
Dude, like I see Juliana fucking moving
You
up
guys
very
having
fast.
littles, and we're kind of going through it. Like, honestly, my biggest, take this as something that you guys carry with you as your children grow. They're not both going to be into wrestling. If they do, that's awesome. If they don't, really, take yourself outside the picture and really just dive yourself into whatever they do love. Because that's going to
For
bring
sure.
you the ultimate joy.
And
And
all
for
the-
her, it's her academics, and she's experiencing new things.
Yeah,
like
that gives you that
pageants.
avenue to
You know what I
just
mean?
seek
Like,
different experiences.
yes, don't
try
be
new
afraid.
things,
And that's a very
push yourself.
that's very
too.
different. Pageant's very different. I'm not a pageant girl, so I'm like, girl, you tripping? Like, I'm not over here trying to be the pageant world, but she loves it, So let me try. We have to want to be
You
willing
can
to
support
try.
her and
You know,
let her know you'll be there.
When we did take a break from wrestling with Esteban, I would still go to the park with him. We would work out, play baseball, play football. Definitely doing other things. It will bring not only him more sound with his, footwork or being more athletic. It gives him that love of other sports, Because what helped me be great at my sport was being good at soccer, being good at baseball, being good at football. So definitely having a variety of tools in your tool bag, it definitely helps you, man. And that all starts with you going out and playing with your kid.
Yeah.
You know, I know we talked about it before, but you know, you can't just wake up and be like, oh, I want my kid to be a great sports enthusiast. You got to put in the work while they're young, man, because I'm pretty sure you played with Isaac when he was outside, you know, throwing a football with him young, and you know, they don't just develop that love.
No. Isaac developed the love his first year in football, and I knew he loved it because he became a leader on the field his very first year ever playing. And the last game, he carried the team and brought us back and everything, and he just fell in love with it. Some kids got it, some people don't. Some people develop it, but I mean, every kid is different. Like with Juliana, I'm so excited to see what she does after high school. I know through high school she's gonna be amazing. I can't wait to see what she does. But when she hits the real world, like I'm really gonna be there and help her and push her to what she wants to do, you know. And with Isaac, at some point, I'm gonna have to fucking let go. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So with every kid is different. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
Luke is talking about playing football, but when I see him actually get on a bike and jump and ride, like I'm like, oh fuck, he's actually really natural at this shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And little does he know, we got him an e-bike. It's in the fucking shed.
Oh, it's fun. I think that's where it comes to your point. Like every kid is different. You kind of have to kind of test the waters differently. You know, I knew that both of my kids were different. Like once they were born, I feel like they're just so opposite, but they're not. You know, they're the same, but then they're so different.
I can't imagine having more than like 1 or 3 kids. Like 3 kids is a fucking lot to handle. Doesn't Elon Musk have like fucking 14 kids?
He also has a bunch of baby mamas, no?
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
Okay,
Like
so
nine.
he's got it made, and he can afford nannies.
He's
The
a
man's
millionaire.
golden.
He could just.
I mean, that
pay.
is a
Man is
lot
not a
of
present
kids
father, and
to
I
not
think
be
we
part
all know
of their
that.
lives.
He's more present with Trump than he is with his own damn kids.
I know, but you think, well, I mean, I get, you
My
brought
brother
up
has
Trump.
5.
That's fucking true.
They're going
Starting
through something
lineup,
different.
starting
They're
lineup.
about to have reality.
I was going to say something, but I'm not.
It's a starting lineup.
I mean,
I mean, at the end of the day, dude, you gotta, you know, experience life with your kids and find out whether you love. If you're forcing anything on them, you'll know.
And then there's some people that, you know, have their own TV shows and have freaking 12, 18 kids.
Yeah, I mean, they get back a lot of money on taxes, you know.
They don't even make it work. Like,
Do you think
about
Elon-
it. After the reality show, when they grow up, have you not seen Kate plus 8? How those kids were like, I hate.
and they're
my
divorced
mom.
too.
I think
You know what I
maybe
mean?
just being in a reality TV show makes them, you know, it has that effect on them. But in reality, you know, I have, you know, like my grandma had 19 kids.
What?
My grandma had 19 kids. What the fuck? Shout out to my
She walked
grandma,
up.
R.I.P.
Jesus
But,
Christ.
yeah, she had 19
That
kids.
woman was
Hey,
building a
that-
legacy.
I mean, if you want
to
your
be honest
family
with you,
name,
my grandma, on my mom's side, if I'm not mistaken, she had 9.
You know what? If that's the case, 19 don't sound as bad as 7. So good job,
No.
Grandma. I love you, Coita.
Yeah.
That was insane to me. 7 kids is a lot, but she had 19.
Yeah,
But,
my
I
dad
mean-
being the youngest.
Your dad was the
My dad's the
youngest?
youngest. Yes, my dad's the
Oh,
youngest.
hell.
So, and you know,
And he's
it's-
over here tripping off me wanting the 4th kid. Like, are you kidding me?
Jeez,
Not even
a
half.
4th kid. Breaking
instead he
news
gave me a puppy,
on
don't
Millennial
worry.
Dads.
He
Shut up,
gave me a
Steven.
puppy.
The Slater.
No 4.
I want to
gave
be
me a
a
puppy.
I want to be a present dad in every one of my kids' life. I can't imagine. I mean, as as like a millionaire, like Elon Musk, a billionaire like he is, I could pretty sure that he could be if he wanted to be present. I don't know. Based off of how he's acting now and the shit that he's going through with Trump, I don't know how he is as a dad. I mean, during.
Well, think
sure
about it.
he's
You just
not.
said it yourself.
I'm
You legit put your foot in
sure.
your mouth. He has plenty of money to be a present father, yet he chooses to be next to Donald Trump, right? What does that tell you in his choice of fatherhood?
Look,
Non-existent.
Look, a lot of people don't know how to be dads. You know,
Yeah, I
it's
think they
it's
just
not
know
like
how
an
to produce them
instruction
and they don't know
manual
how to-
that you can read and be like, okay, this is what I got to do step by
Yeah.
step.
Nick
It's a
Cannon,
feeling,
he has
man.
what,
Nick
couple-
Cannon has like a
yeah,
billion
Nick
babies
Cannon has
too.
It's a
lot of
feeling,
babies,
yeah. But I mean, you can any person can have a kid. You know, it takes a man to be a father. So
This is true.
who's really, you know, the people that are having multiple kids. I mean, you're sending your offspring into the world without even, you know, with no mentorship, no one to guide them. They're just going out there creating OnlyFans.
The goal is not quantity; it is quality.
I'm just joking. I just was joking about that. That's why.
But it's true.
But if you have daughters, watch out, man. You got to be present.
That's a whole.
Oh,
Right? You got to
You
be
do?
present, man.
Hide your daughters.
Hide your daughters.
Speaking of Elon, like, have you guys? What's the? You guys mentioned drama in the
Hide your dollars.
in the kitchen, but I don't know what the hell's going on really between Trump and Elon. What happened?
All I seen on my feed was a Twitter beef between Donald Trump and Elon Musk.
Well,
I guess he's mad about.
Yeah,
putting
Donald
out
Trump
the-
took back some spending on his EV cars and some of the grants that he had and that he promised Elon.
I did see like one thing, a meme that like Elon posted like with a guy handing him a paper and it said, "Hey, we're going to decrease spending and here's your order," and it says like increase spending or something like that. And then Elon, I guess, was saying that he's driving us into like a debt.
Yeah, that's what he's saying.
Well, yeah, he wants
is?
to, because Trump's goal is to ruin the economy. That way, he can now transition into.
Well, quick question.
Using,
What kind of source do you
Bitcoin.
guys trust?
He wants to go completely crypto
CNN?
as our
Oh.
new currency,
CBS?
as United
ABC?
States.
I don't know.
So he wants us to be the biggest country
Google.
of
Hell
crypto.
nah.
Tag on
And the only way you do
comments
that
where
is by
For
transitioning
real.
from Swift
Chat
banking,
me. What is it, chat
because that's what our first. That's our first banking
Yeah, I
system.
know.
right?
I get what
Siri,
you're
what's the
saying.
word?
So he wants the market to crash, but in order to do that, everybody has to stop paying their bills, and then everybody goes into debt, and then we're back into recession, just like what happened in '08.
No, the '08 was caused by the housing market.
Yeah, but people were foreclosing on their mortgages.
Yes, because anybody and everybody got a house,
exactly.
even though if they couldn't make the payment.
Yes, and then
then
everybody
everybody-
bet against the housing market.
Exactly, and that's when BlackRock came in and bought all the
exactly.
debt.
So he's trying to do the same thing, but everybody's still working, so we all can still pay our bills.
Yeah, and that's what his
Kinda.
tax plan is or whatever, right?
Yeah, but I mean that's why he's trying to. That's why inflation was supposed to hit us harder than what it did. You know?
Yeah, because inflation now is at 2% now.
Yeah.
So
Trust PBS?
But if you go to your
Yeah.
interest rates, they're still at 7.
New York Times?
So they're saying
Yeah,
once they
about
bring
it.
down that it's gonna go crazy
The Washington
because they're gonna
Post.
print so much money and our debt to ratio is gonna be off balance.
so with that the great big beautiful bill, whatever he's trying to spend.
He's trying to print more money.
Okay.
So if you print more money and we're in debt, that means we lose value in our dollar.
Usually I'm on top of this shit, but I've been trying to learn about fucking
CNN,
e-bikes
not
and
that
shit.
We really trust them, you know.
I mean, I don't know
Nobody-
everything. I just, what I've seen here and there, but I know he's been trying to destroy the dollar since he got into office. I mean, that's why,
Literally,
U.S.
this
dollar.
happened in the last 72 hours. So it looks like
All right, here we go.
they had an argument about massive tax and domestic policy bill raging across social media, in the Oval Office, which is never a good thing.
Yeah, I did see Elon
AKA,
in his
you
like
said,
body
the big
language
beautiful bill.
and everything in
As a
the
disgusting
office. 1 second, babe.
abomination.
I did see him in the office, like with Donald Trump as he was handing him the key, and his body language, and the dude had like a black eye. Like the body language was completely
Elon
off
Musk?
for me.
I did not see
who?
that.
On Elon Musk.
Are you saying he got his ass beat before
Look,
that
babe,
happened?
No, he said that.
Look up
so
Trump
there,
for me.
so there are rumors. There are rumors of Elon
About printing money.
having prescription in his little thing every day. He takes like mushrooms, methamphetamines, and like all kinds of shit. But that's what they're saying about Elon. But then Elon fired back and said that, oh, Trump's on the Epstein shit.
Yeah, I did see that.
So like,
I mean,
it seems like a
could
bunch
see-
of petty fucking drama. It seems like Elon.
You, man.
I mean,
Elon seems like he's pissed because Trump is cutting certain things when it comes to EVs, which is affecting his net
Business.
worth and his business. So he wants to be a petty shithead and go fire back at Trump.
I mean,
And then I did see a tweet that said, "Hey, I'm here, and Vance is here for another 40 years." That was from Elon.
Well, like you said, here's the tweet from Elon. It says, "Time to drop the really big bomb. Donald Trump is in the Epstein files. That's the real reason why they have not been made public." So that was one of his tweets.
Well, yeah, I thought we all knew that he was on the Epstein thing.
He was on the Epstein thing, and then witnesses even came out from the Epstein witnesses that were actually females that were held by Epstein. There was 3, and 3 did confirm that Trump was around Epstein. However, never flirted with them, never touched them, never did anything with them, and he literally told them that it was just like an acquaintance type of feel. Not like they were friends.
Yeah, for business purposes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see about that. Anyways, so Armando Pantoja said breaking Tesla stock plummets after Trump posts the easiest way to save money is to terminate Elon's governmental subsidies and contracts.
Yeah, he's probably one of the biggest government contractors.
Tweeted, I was always surprised that Biden didn't do it.
Well,
Yeah, he wants to.
I mean, Trump's goal is oil. He's an oil
Yeah.
guy. He really can care,
Because do you know
less
how long
about-
it would take us to fully convert to like EV and natural and all
You
that?
would have to give them out for free. If you really want everybody to go green and you want everybody to be on EV chargers, you need to be giving every homeowner at least one EV charger for free, or you pay it back in your taxes.
But here's the thing. People don't realize the raw minerals, the lithium deposits and all that, and the mining is way worse than mining oil.
Who wants to hear more tweets from Donald Trump?
What do you say?
Hold on real quick. It's like the Tesla wall packs. Now Edison's giving them out for free. I got solar in my house, and now I have a battery backup
Oh,
system.
you ended up getting solar?
Yeah, we ended up getting it.
From who?
Sunrun.
Hey, how'd that go?
I mean, we have a backup system that's good for 3 hours. So if I lose
Hold
power,
on. You got
I got
2
3 hours
bills?
worth of power.
Or you got 1 bill?
Well, it's not even up yet.
we don't know yet. We'll
Are
know
you waiting
in
on
a
permits
couple.
or from approval to get it turned on?
Well, no, Edison came and turned on our power for it, so it's live right now.
No, they still have
Edison.
to pass inspection.
It
Still
did
have
it?
to pass.
No, you still have to pass.
No, he did. He turned off power and he turned it back on.
Yeah,
That
but
doesn't
it-
mean
that
you got the
doesn't-
okay to turn it
yeah,
on.
No, it's not on yet.
I thought you said Edison came by and
just
turned
I
it
mean,
on.
they
Inspection.
came, but after that, they did the inspection.
Yep.
Wow.
I sold
But-
it. I should know.
Yeah.
But my point is
Wait,
like,
hold on. So what happened?
Well, I installed solar, so
Yeah,
for a while.
he
Doesn't
said
mean you know the
that.
process.
Yeah, again, it's not on yet.
You're just the installer, bro.
You don't
I
know
mean,
what
I
goes
was the
behind
foreman.
back.
I walked with the inspector,
True.
but
But it's not inspected yet. No, it's not inspected yet. But to your point,
well,
yeah,
why
it- they
why
want
did
it.
Edison turn on our power and turn it back on?
I
then?
think he was just finishing something.
Are
But
you waiting
he
for?
told me that he was just there to hook up the
The
Tesla
meter?
battery backup thing.
So
Oh, so
did you
they
guys
just
get-
wired it up then.
You guys have not gotten the okay to turn it on.
No,
No,
not
we
yet,
have
'cause
not,
It hasn't
no.
passed inspection.
Yeah.
Correct.
So we're not even storing energy at this point.
No, you're doing
Not at
nothing
all.
yet.
Nothing,
No,
nothing.
It's just there.
Yep.
And
Yes.
that may take a minute. Just
Yeah,
an FYI.
I'm good if it does.
Okay.
But they're supposed to have like a flat rate at what, like 123,
So what do you guys
Yeah.
average?
like
118.
1.8.
it
No,
118?
like, well, sometimes we average 118. Most of the time it's like 200. Our last
Yeah,
bill
we
was like
pay about
210,
2 to 3 in the summer.
2 or
for the
190. I think I've seen on a consistent basis.
I
The
wish I
most-
had 3 during the summer.
Yeah,
homie, I like to be in my blankets in the summer. My bill's like $600.
Yeti.
Yeah,
This
the
guy's a
highest-
Yeti, man.
that's what I was gonna say. My
God
highest
damn,
bill
he
is
wants to
about
live in
550.
Alaska. Let's just move to Alaska.
Dude,
It'll be
Vanessa
cheaper
thinks
for us
I'm
at
like
that
the
point.
Warren, bro. I don't touch that shit. I don't put that on. I don't know.
Anyways.
I was just brought
I
up.
don't
in-
give
No.
a fuck.
I was in a
The
Mexican
highest
household,
my bill
man. They
has
did not
been
let you touch the
$550.
thermostat.
So, okay.
Fuck no, my dad was a
So
tin knocker,
my
bro. He knew how to
question
work
is
on AC. I was like, fuck this.
They're asking you to pay what? What is Sunrun asking you to
Can we
pay?
go back on
Nothing.
topic?
123 a month.
A month. Okay, now
Does not
if-
deviate.
all right, it doesn't
It's
deviate.
set rate.
Even if you guys are
Even if I
sucking more
crank that.
kilowatts out of your normal
Crank
out of
it.
your normal panels,
I think we have like if we go over a certain amount, we have like
you'll pay Edison.
we have
the
a little bit of reserve that we can go over. But
Do you guys have an actual battery that stores it?
yeah, we have the Tesla wall
Because if
pack.
it
goes
It's on the side of my
over,
I was
house.
about to say you're in California. You have to have one. Did you PPA
Well,
it?
They were just putting inverters on people's houses.
That's against the law in
that was
California.
so
You have to have
cold.
actual
I actually made a little bit of money profited from it because I would do like transfer switches or do it for them. Because I would be like, oh, you have solar, but I noticed you don't have a battery to store your energy. I was like, you should either get a Generac system or something.
And you'll help them make that switch.
Exactly.
Dang, that is such a great hustle for you.
So I was doing that for a good year until Edison started giving it out for free. And then people were like, oh, well, they're going to give it to me for free. Why would I do it with you? I'm like, yeah, it's true. I tried.
So if you do go over, then you will get an Edison bill, correct?
Yes, we still get an Edison bill. Well, yeah, see, I won't know until the first time I get the check or first time I get the bill. I'll know more.
Did they
but
tell
they
you
gave us a
about,
range.
like, getting money back the following year? Will you do taxes or anything?
If we generate enough, it depends.
Okay.
Because they don't know how much. Well, they did an estimate of how much we would generate.
Yeah, like they
and
did
then,
an average of how much our household we spend on
and
the energy that we
yeah. And they said your bill's about $200 a month.
You guys could have got that yourselves. You know that, right?
Yeah, I probably
So
could have, but then I got to do
they
more
didn't,
work.
like, overdo it.
I mean, I didn't pay for anything out of pocket.
Of course not. You're not going to. It's all covered by the government.
That's what I'm saying.
But the problem is
yeah.
the fear that settles in for most homeowners, and I've gotten those phone calls, is that there's holes in their roof and they can't get repaired. Or I'm glad you went with Sunrun, because other smaller companies go out of business and then they get stuck with nobody being able to go out there and help them.
Yeah, I've heard that. I've heard a lot of that.
So I'm glad you went with
I
someone
think
that's
he went in our
local.
attic and took pictures.
That don't mean nothing.
I know, but I'm gonna be like, well, you were there.
Still
You
got
didn't
holes
see
in
it,
your
fucker.
roof. And I'm glad you guys aren't planning on moving, because if you move, then you gotta fucking pay to get those panels taken off, and they're
No, I
No,
asked
they're staying
that.
there.
I asked
They're
that
staying there. I'm not gonna
because
take it.
I'm
Just like my
trying to
water
wanna
softener.
move, so I asked
Keep
that.
it.
They said they can just leave it there and it'll still generate. Because I asked if it would add more value to the house.
It does. It definitely does, because a homeowner wants to come in already not having to deal with that shit.
Yeah.
So whatever
Like
you're
it's
paying
already
at full.
taken care of. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, hopefully at the end of the year here.
Well, that was his goal, right? To get it rented out.
My credit's
Yeah.
better, so we can get
Rent it
another
out.
house.
Get another one. You know, have a couple properties here and there.
That's
Definitely.
awesome.
That's the goal.
Here and there.
Because I don't want to work.
Have,
Dang, you guys gotta update me with that, because I won't get solar for the life of me.
Dude, think about it, Max. You keep this house, buy another house, and you sell every 2 years, and you just build your capital.
That depends on the market.
It does, but either way, yeah, if it's down. But how long has it been since
You
been
also
up?
got to
don't
take
wanna
into
get low.
consideration the workforce, work labor. You got to look at the unemployment. There's more than people don't take into account the unemployment rate, what the market cap is, and there's a lot more than it goes into it, into investing. I'm a private property, I'm gonna rent it out. There's a reason why military guys only rent to military guys.
Oh, yeah, for
and
sure.
you get what I'm saying.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
there's a lot more when it comes into it, because there may be a time to buy, but it's not a time to rent, because not everybody's working. Not everybody can afford your mortgage.
Yeah,
So
no, for sure.
it all depends, and that's when these companies like fucking BlackRock come in, and it doesn't really matter. Because if you go up the street, they'll say, "Hey, the house is $500,000, and the fucking house is 3,700 square feet. Yeah, it's only $500,000. Oh, but your interest rate's at 8%.
And you got to put like 20 grand into it. to
Or
fix
the
it.
house is $1 million. Oh, and your interest rate is 2%.
Yeah.
So there's a lot more that it comes into it, and it's not as easy as people think it is or make it out to be. I mean, I wish we were at that point, because I do have the VA loan and all that stuff that I can use, and it doesn't really matter for me. But if like other individuals, you got to be cautious.
Well, so supposedly in the next year, Trump is bringing down the rates. Supposedly that's what's going to happen. The rates are going to come down, and then it's going to flood open, and people are going to try to buy.
That is the worst thing that he could do for the economy, and I'm going to tell you why. Because the moment the interest rates go down, and then the more you got to match workforce with the interest rates. If the workforce is not working, that's why they have these things called NEETs, not in training, or not in education or training. So that means they're not training, or they're not going to school. They're not learning to make a trade. And there's guys that are like this, and it's a big thing that's going on right now. And so what that means is that the labor market is down, right? So there's not enough work for everybody that's in the United States. And that's why there's a big thing when it comes to pushing people out. that are illegal. You got to push these people out because they're coming in working for lower fucking wages, cutting the market cap for actually the workforce. So there's a lot to go into it. I don't see him dropping the interest rates because that there's not enough labor out there and not enough people to buy the houses. Yeah. So he has to keep the interest rates at a certain place. The moment he does that, he's gonna fuck the economy. Plain and simple.
He said that he's doing the tariff thing too because he said that we as America need to, create our own product without ordering it overseas, and that's going to create more jobs.
Yeah.
Here
and it's
yeah, he wants a USA made, US made.
Yeah. So all that has to come together in a perfect world in order to successfully drop the interest rates. If he doesn't get the labor market in projections of like higher growth income, there's no point in dropping the interest rates.
Well, it's like just a man with a million obstacles.
Well, it's like the refinery closing down over there in Long Beach. Like supposedly our gas is supposed to go up to like $8.
Tesoro closed.
Yeah. So any moment here, our gas prices can go crazy. And that's really gonna put people in a bind.
And then Newsom ended up putting
like what 90 days there.
All the water. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm gonna have to bleep that out.
And then there's like a big ice fall we can climb over and hop into all the other little worlds that are out there. All right, sorry.
It's just gonna be crazy, honestly, I don't know how we got into these topics
because we mentioned EV and then you guys went on a tangent about your house.
But I love it. Yeah.
Yeah, and then we got into solar, and then it just kind of.
Yeah.
But let's go back on topic. What's your guys' opinion on the whole fucking Trump and Elon thing?
Well, okay, let me put this to you this way. What do you think about people getting deported?
Yes.
How do you think about Trump deporting people? Do you think it's a good thing?
Hold on, I'll answer that one. What is your guys' opinion? I think Elon's just being fucking petty because he took some of his net worth away.
He needs to be a president father and stop getting into politics.
Okay.
I think you should worry about your family first.
I love that one.
You're able to do anything.
He's got plenty of kids.
I don't know. I think that maybe, honestly, I'm not for, so it's all in God's hands from here. Whatever he's going to let happen is just going to.
I wish it was that simple, babe.
Me too, but it's not.
It's not. Before the end, in the Bible, it says before the end of the world, everyone's going to go against each other. And you already see that in the world.
Yes, I will say that I'm thankful for Elon donating the $250 million he did to the Trump campaign to get him in office.
Yeah.
But I think that's where it should have stopped.
And he holds that against him, though. He brings it like,
I bet he does.
I made you win. Remember that?
Yeah, is Elon responsible for Trump's presidency?
No, he had a big part in it, though.
He did his
work. Because he didn't
but
buy
he is not the
votes.
sole reason why he
got the campaign. He did not buy
reelected.
Votes.
He got reelected because he could relate to the normal U.S. citizen.
Yeah, the middle class.
Yes.
It's funny how a billionaire could relate to the middle class.
Yeah. I mean, do I agree with everything Trump's doing now?
No, nope.
I don't.
I will tell you that right
but I'll tell
now.
you what, I'd rather take him than anybody else.
Same with me. Especially a guy who supposedly actually had cancer and was dying the whole time he was in office.
No way.
That's interesting too. Yeah,
I've never heard
they were
that.
keeping that a secret.
No, it's been confirmed.
Cheeseman, man, for real.
Yeah,
they're keeping that.
He had prostate cancer and metastasized into his bones. He's terminal.
So he
prostate cancer. That's got to be painful.
Like he's terminal. Like he's not going to be able to beat it.
Dang. So his son is probably like it, right?
Yeah.
But then they give Biden a hard time because he's just old.
Yeah, but it wasn't. He was actually.
That's what we're talking about.
And that's why he became so delusional, is because they actually stopped androgens, and what that means is they stopped his body from producing testosterone. So what happens is in males, if you don't have enough testosterone, your frontal lobe and your brain starts to go. So the moment like you have memory loss, you're fuzzy, all this stuff, 9 times out of 10 is because your testosterone is low. So they pretty much they medically castrated him.
They drag him along with IV full of blood just to get him to that presidency.
It's all over.
What does that mean?
The doctor came out and said
That's not a source all over?
I can't remember the source, but it's true.
You're not
We
valid.
can we can contact sources another day.
Yeah, we'll have another screen here and we can pull it up.
Have to.
Yeah,
Because that's
it's
No, it's
I
not.
I
really
never
am
hey,
heard
it's good to
that.
be back and having discussions again.
Yeah.
I tell you that though.
Yeah.
I miss Millennial Dads.
Yeah,
and
you asked.
I'm glad that
Took
you
you
know
long
we were able
enough.
to make this work.
We've just been busy, man. Family
We've
first.
all been
Happens.
busy.
Family
I miss
first.
you guys.
Family first.
I mean, we made it
Yeah,
out
for
here. I
real.
know it was kind of late, but you
Yeah.
know, we're here.
We've never done this early, first and foremost.
Yeah.
And I've never been on a podcast before.
Yes, we got. It is a
Same.
I know.
first.
It's your guys' first.
It is a first.
We have our own podcast between us in the kitchen.
What was your question?
My question. I don't know. I think we answered it though.
The deporting thing.
Oh yes, yes. Thank you. Yeah. How do you feel about Trump deporting random immigrants?
I think he's not
Hold
the first
on.
one to do it.
Hold on. You're wrong.
Some
Nope. Hold on.
Some have
Stop.
no criminal records.
Stop.
Just saying.
Okay, my
They are
thing is this.
holding-
Are they an immigrant if they came over here illegally?
Yes.
No, they're not. You broke the law.
If they know they did
So
something bad.
okay, so technically yes, if you don't have your green card or your certification for actually being
You're
here in this
committing a crime.
country, yes, you're an illegal immigrant.
Okay. So did you abide by the law?
You did not.
Okay.
But that doesn't make you a bad person.
No, it
But-
No,
doesn't.
it does not.
No, but however, what is our immigration laws?
Anybody that doesn't belong here basically doesn't belong
Guess
here.
what? Europe has them. China has them. Australia has them. They all have laws. If you want to go there without a citizenship, there are certain rules you have to follow to get it. If not, you're breaking their
Yeah.
law. And they can deport you. Why are we so different than all those other countries?
Because
Exactly.
the land
Because
of the
I
free.
think we take it. Yeah.
No.
because
No.
We, take
We
more.
are no different.
But
There's
I-
still laws.
Yeah.
And I'm
laws.
and
You
it
just have
it
to
sucks
follow
for me to say it because I want to have my wife, I want to have my kids if my wife's family didn't do what they did. However,
They got their paper.
they got their paperwork, dude. There's people getting deported that have been here for fucking 27 goddamn years, broken many laws, and I mean hurt people, drug dealing, all kinds of shit, deported multiple times, had multiple opportunities. What's their excuse?
Yeah, to do that. But I think that some people don't always have the resources to do that.
Look,
It-
I agree.
And sometimes America, United States does give them to them. Sometimes they don't.
If you plan
They
on
don't know about it.
yeah, if you plan on
know?
being in this country,
You follow the law.
Of course.
Okay.
you should take the steps
Get asylum.
and
do what you
be
gotta do.
legal and have that citizenship because if not, then anybody can come in and take it away from you.
Now, is there a specific instance that you can tell me that someone who was here that was legally here that was deported?
I mean, luckily, no. Everybody that I know that came here
Supposedly
have
there
their
was
papers.
based on news.
They have papers. You know, people that I know close to me. Luckily, they got their citizenship before this all happened. Because who knows? You know, we could be talking about something different. If they
Okay,
didn't.
so what's the difference between Trump now and then Obama in 2012?
For real, dude.
Obama was faking it.
No.
he tricked
No.
everybody. I feel like.
No,
He was
that-
known as the Great Deporter.
Yeah.
No, yeah, because that's where he like caged kids.
He caged.
Yeah, and
Dude, there was only
So,
one
yeah.
president that I
Yeah, there
remember
is
where I would
one
drive with my wife and her family down PCH in Long Beach and we would find out, hey, checkpoint. We would turn around. And I know because I was driving.
Yeah.
It was only under Obama.
so yeah, there is.
But I'm
I-
sure
a
Bush,
difference.
I
I'm
think-
sure Clinton, I'm sure they all had their little phases and moments of like deporting. Every president has done it. Like, let's be honest
I feel
here.
as a country, as a president, you have that, like, you have to do that to protect your country. You know, to make sure that everybody that comes in means well for your country.
Goddamn,
and
I
have
bet
to
you
set
Mexico.
guidelines.
Mexico would not let us live there illegally.
So-
I guarantee you they deport
No,
us.
they
That's
deport you in a heartbeat.
I don't think Mexico likes
Exactly.
you
Go by the
as
law.
much as we
there
think.
are laws to be a citizen. You have to
we're-
abide by them.
We're a nation under laws. We have to abide by those laws.
Like
Plain
every
and
other
simple.
country.
If you want to live in this country. And I'm going to tell you this. We're very lenient compared to other countries.
Hell yeah.
You
we are.
you have freedom of
that is
speech
true.
here. You're allowed to practice your religion here. everything.
Yes.
As long as you're not harming anybody else and doing anything else, you're allowed to be here. That's what I fight for this country for. However,
home of the free because of the brave.
Dude, right
And-
there, ladies and gentlemen, smack dab in your face.
and I'm not saying that to be a smartass, but
I get it.
at the same time, look at what just happened in Colorado. That dude wasn't.
happened?
Yeah,
What
I
happened?
see he blew
He was
up
an illegal
that,
immigrant.
Yeah.
What happened?
Look,
Tell
I'm
me.
not saying what Trump is doing.
There was a terrorist attack in
There's a terrorist attack. He
Colorado.
blew up a building.
He blew up a building and killed 14 people.
14 people, yeah.
And he was an illegal immigrant.
Yeah, he was Hispanic, I believe.
What the fuck was he Islamic or what?
Yeah, I don't know. He minded. He
That's
looked.
super racist. I'm so sorry, but like that's the first thing I go to.
He was brown.
He was. We don't know what he was.
don't know
but
what his
it was
nationality
against.
was. What his
It
religion
was
was?
against the Jewish community.
I
wasn't
think it was. It was for Islam or something.
It was for Islam
Oh,
because he
okay,
was
so
against the
my-
Jewish community.
Yeah.
My nose is right on the money then, right?
So, but the thing, what I'm trying to say is that
crazy,
like, there's an example. You know what I mean? And then we wouldn't have the mass deportation that we're having right now if Biden did what he was supposed to do and locked down the border. He invited people over. There was over, some numbers say 4 million,
But
some
it
numbers
wasn't
say
even
6
just
million.
Hispanics, because that's the first race people
Yes.
look at. We're
But
looking at
hold on.
Asians.
Let me finish what I was saying. Okay. There was a number of anywhere from 4 to 8 million people that have crossed in the last 4 years. Within that 4 million, it is not just Mexicans like she was saying. Okay. You had actual known terrorists cross the border. Can't find them. You have people from China coming over. Can't find them. Known terrorists. Known CCP people. You have people from Africa, all these countries that flew into Mexico to cross at the south border. And it's not just the south. There's just as many that happened coming in through Canada. You know what I mean? Yeah. And the way Tom Holman put it, it's not going to be perfect. Is there going to be faults? Yes. But if you did not commit a crime, he's not going after you first off. However, if you're an illegal immigrant and he walks into a house and there's a known criminal in there and you happen to be caught in it, yeah, you're getting deported too. Why? Because you are harboring a fugitive. Mm-hmm. So it is what it is. And I could tell you this. There's people that come into this country and speak very ill will of this country. Very ill will. And they come here because they want a better life, because they know they can get it here. But all they do is talk shit on our values and how we are as a culture. We're the one country that allows you to bring your culture in this country, practice your race, practice your religion, whatever it may be. But you'll be the first one to fucking run your goddamn mouth about this goddamn country. You go into fucking, go into Qatar. Go into Saudi Arabia. Go be gay over there. Your ass will be beheaded and thrown off a fucking building.
It's totally
And it
nuts.
is true, because when people come in here, since we have all those rights for you to practice, for you to
Freedom
do
of
freely,
speech,
a
freedom of
lot of people
protest.
come here and feel some type of entitlement.
Exactly.
Because, the government's going to take care of me because I could do this here, because I could, practice these things.
Obviously,
Which
you
is
couldn't
true,
do it where you came
which is
from.
Exactly.
True, but a lot of people have that entitlement, because in my job force, I see that sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you should know, my insurance covers everything. My insurance covers this. So it's just kind of like, okay, yes, you're right. The insurance does cover it. But you don't have to be such a dick about it.
Yeah. And here's another
You're
thing.
welcome, because I'm paying you for you to get this.
Exactly. And here's another one. People don't realize this. And this is specifically for fucking California. How many hospitals closed in Southern California alone?
Really?
Some in very, very predominant areas where they need medical care. And the reason why I bring that up is because illegals are given medical care for fucking free. And who's supposed to pick that bill up?
The U.S. people.
Us.
We are.
And
Yeah,
I
and our
didn't know
taxes.
that, but I was on
Yes.
I literally was on
Hold on.
Medi-Cal my entire life.
And
not
now
knowing that.
let me I'm gonna school you guys on something real quick. How many of those bills have been paid to those people, or the hospitals or the corporations that own the hospitals? None. That is why they are closing.
Yeah, people don't pay their
So
bills.
what happens
wonder why
now?
maybe they're not
That creates a bottleneck for actual
They're billing.
Yeah.
It creates a
They're billing.
bottleneck for everybody else who actually needs medical care, who has insurance, who has certain things, and works their ass off for it. But when you go to fucking the hospital, you're waiting for fucking 6 goddamn hours just to get a prescription.
But that's how I feel as a country we should come together. And yes, we're taking care of the people that are coming in here illegally, and we're taking care of your insurance and all that. But why not only do that for them, but also for people that are still working?
Exactly.
Are still working the 9 to 5.
That technically should belong to us, but it
yes.
doesn't, because we're taking
But
care of
because
people that
we don't qualify because we make a certain amount.
Exactly.
We're still considered middle class here in America because we're still working, but at least we have a job, right?
Yeah.
Instead of versus not having a job.
And why wouldn't the government bail out the hospitals at that point then?
Because California is already $12 billion in debt,
We're in debt
just for this year.
Then what difference does it make with another $1 billion?
Because guess who he has to ask for the money?
They could just print.
No, they can't.
Not the state.
It seems like we're printing everywhere.
Okay, but my thing is this. Don't you have to have a good relationship with your federal government if you're going to ask for money?
Yeah, you do. But you're the president. You should be able to make that decision.
Okay,
Or
but
how
you
about we
really
stop
think
taking in
our
immigrants
governor and our
stop
president
giving them
were...
all this
I mean, we're in debt to
money
China.
And give it to the
So
people
what
No,
difference
but
does it
you're
make?
or
you're
the people that are on
conflating.
EBT
Yeah.
that should
What
be
I'm
working.
saying is you're $12 million in debt, right? What
you're-
difference does it make if you print another 5?
Okay, but the state is not allowed to print money. The money is dictated by the Federal Reserve.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
California has to ask for it.
Yeah.
That'd be your
Okay.
governor.
I mean, yeah.
Dickwad.
So you're conflating federal law with state law. It's two totally different things.
It's just it's unfortunate that they can decide what they want to print whenever they want.
What's unfortunate is that
when
we're giving that money to immigrants that do not belong here when they should be going to us, the middle class, who are working our ass off, 2 jobs.
I mean,
2
I get
jobs,
it. Should we
and
get
still can barely make
room
ends
and
meet.
board, and should we get free things like that? We should, because people
Not
are
free,
homeless.
assistance. There's a
Oh,
difference.
I'm sorry, assistance.
No, I don't.
We got people.
I know people
we
that
got
are
people on
living in
EBT
penthouses
living
and
off
they're,
of
you know.
EBT.
No, I don't think there should be any assistance. I think there should be. Okay, the only type of assistance I think there should be is for single moms whose dads actually ran out on them and not fucking lying. Next thing you know, they're going and buying blunts at fucking 7-Eleven. But what actual women that actually need help, then they get drug tested and they actually have to be working towards something and trying to better themselves. I'm tired of.
There's only people that need it though. There's other people.
Exactly. No, I'm gonna go. Yeah, I'm gonna go down the list. I'm gonna go down the list. Mental health people, our veterans. We already got
veterans,
assistance. I don't.
Elderly.
I don't exactly elderly, but I don't have a soft spot for veterans living on the streets because there's too many goddamn assistants
Shelters.
out there for you to better yourselves. Yes, there's some people that actually truly have a mental disorder because of deployments and because of certain things, and they do need help. However, that's not the majority. Okay, I believe on a merit-based society. If you want it bad enough, fucking go get it.
Yeah.
I didn't get any goddamn help.
This is the country for that.
Yeah, I mean, I agree, but
Steven,
at
did
some-
you have help?
But at
Hold
some
on, Steven,
point,
Steven.
if you're gonna give help,
Steven,
every homeowner should get help. Then,
no.
Yeah, that's what I'm.
No,
but if
not
you
a-
I feel like everyone,
you're
okay, you
going
wanna
to
come in
give
this
help
country,
out,
this is
though,
the country
Max.
to do it because we help our people, and I get it. People want to come over here because it's help, and I get it because there's some people that cross over, just not just because I want to wake up and just go to the United States. Some people really come over here because they're escaping poverty.
Yeah,
They're
it's
escaping
asylum.
Gangless. Yeah, they're
Yeah.
escaping their
Abuse.
capitalism in whatever their country is
The,
going.
the biggest example you can, as of right now, in today, right now, this era, right this second, the people that you can relate to is Ukrainians, and then you got the South Africans, because the white South Africans in South Africa right now are literally getting killed, like for no goddamn reason. You get what I'm saying? So circumstances like that, right?
I mean, in
But
Spain,
not-
they're giving 4 weekdays, and they get paid stipends for living in there and being a homeowner.
Have you ever been to Spain?
I haven't.
Have you seen their living quality?
I know it looks like shit, but fuck.
I
mean, it's like going to France. You go into France, you go to Italy, they do the same thing.
Again, every country has their own rules. Because in Japan, a lot of the people that take smoking breaks at work,
Yeah.
they take smoking breaks. Some people convert that. Some people that don't smoke, that
I'm
don't
just-
take smoking
yeah.
breaks,
Okay.
can attach that PTO.
I'm
because
just
later
saying.
And they also have
they don't
universal
have
medical.
that in
They
the
have
United
universal medical care.
Yes.
Look at Canada. Why do 90% or well, no, I shouldn't say 90%.
They have
But
it.
if people have money in Canada and to be able to come over here, they rather pay out of pocket to come here to get seen medical care because it's so fucking bad up there.
So you're saying if we gave people, let's say, $3,000 every 2 months for being a homeowner, for being part of the society of the United States, it'd be a bad thing?
It's called a tax write-off.
I get it, but I'm just saying, Like, for you being a positive citizen and helping the community grow, shouldn't you be rewarded for that?
It's called a tax write-off.
I know tax write-off is different. That's what you buy. You're buying all this stuff and you can write it off. I'm talking about like
Sure they heard that.
You're talking about it like a monthly stipend that you can do whatever you want with.
yeah. Well, okay, Native Americans, they get money for their land being taken, right? Because my mom's Indian and she gets paid or whatever. And now people from different ethnic backgrounds want to get compensated for their troubles and their history, even though no one's ever been a part of that part of the life. But like, if you give I'm just saying, if you give some people help, do you think our community will be better?
No, I think they would piss it away because it hasn't done any food stamps, WIC, all this shit that people get. It hasn't. I mean, go to the
they're feeding their kids. The kids are fed with that.
No, go to the projects in LA. Go to the projects in Long Beach. Go to the projects fucking anywhere and see people that are on food stamps and literally look up the statistics of how many people actually work towards getting off of it.
None.
If you do that, then most of the people that
Can you
take
search that?
away, if you take that away from people, Max, then most of those people become homeless.
I'm not. That wasn't your question. Your question is, do you think the people would be better off in being able to do better their life? No, because they get reliant on it. You think they're really better in their life when they're on fucking food stamps?
I think it would help.
I'm not saying it doesn't help.
It would help them make better decisions.
Steven,
Maybe spend it on
No,
things like
no,
buying a house and not be homeless.
No, Steven, it doesn't. And I'm going to give you a prime example. And I've told you this story before. I was working on the 605 interchange. And with me and my boy, Frank Tepich, we went into 7-Eleven. And we were dirty as shit. Fucking dirty as hell. We pulled a fucking 12-hour day. And it was off of fucking Clark. The 7-Eleven off of Clark. We walk in, we're getting our food, we're getting everything, and next thing you know, there's a guy right ahead of us. We saw him get out of the car. It's literally a fucking Cadillac Escalade on 26s, and I was like, oh shit, that's a nice Escalade. Next thing you know, he puts his fucking food down, and then he buys a couple fucking alcohol drinks, not even joking, and then he asked for 2 blunts, and he had a fuck ton of like munchies, like chips, beef jerky, all kinds of stuff. He literally says, hey, these are going to be 2 separate bills. So I'm like, oh, maybe he's got cash, maybe he's got a card. No, this motherfucker pulls out food stamps. Then he buys 4 blunt wraps and 2 fucking alcoholic beverages with cash.
Look,
please tell me a guy that was on.
We can't choose people's lifestyles. You're right. I guess maybe believing.
I'm gonna stop you there, and I'm gonna add to his collection of
You have to
stories.
believe in the people that make this country great.
I don't, because I've seen that too much being in Long Beach.
I worked at Top Valley as a cashier in my very early 20s, and I saw these girls with Gucci bags. They got their nails. They're $200. These were not cheap nails. I know because I do my nails. These were like $150 nails done. They got their lashes done. They look so nice. They have their groceries. And what do? They pull out the motherfucking EBT stamp. Look, EBT card. I've seen it.
So
too.
you guys are against people having EBT?
Yes, if they do not deserve it.
Yes.
Because they choose. You want to know why? You know what I've heard before too? From a woman. First off.
People saying they're separated and divorced.
I make more money off EBT not working than if I were to get a regular hourly job. Why? Because I cannot afford daycare. So if I were to work a regular job, so I'm better off not working at all and relying on the government to pay my bills. Verbatim, that phrase from her has never left me, and it's left me very pissed at our government since then.
Let me ask you guys this question then. Do you think this world is created equal for everybody?
Yes.
That is wrong.
In this country or in this world?
In this country. In this country where we live in right now.
General spectrum we're talking about right now.
In the country?
Yes.
Yes.
My parents came with nothing.
I'm not going to sound racist here, but it's because you're white, Max.
No. So hear from a Mexican. My mom.
If you walked in the store
my mother
and
came and crossed this border with me in her stomach and
Hold
made
on.
a life for
Hold on,
herself.
let me
My father.
I'm gonna answer
crossed
this.
the border and made a life for himself. My uncle, my grandma crossed the border and made
My
a
wife
life for
is heathen.
themselves.
So
You wanna
is
know
my
why?
family.
Because they chose to.
I agree.
Without EBT, without WIC.
But you know what got them
without
there?
help from the
Their work
government.
ethic.
Okay, exactly. So everyone
You just
has
contradicted
that
yourself,
choice.
Susan.
No, but listen to me.
Everyone
But if
has
me
that
and you went
choice.
for the same job,
Would
Max.
they love help
if
from
me
the
and you went
government?
for the same job, listen. Hold on.
Would they love help from the government? Yes. Did they get it? No. You want to know why?
'Cause
Because
they're not US
they
citizens.
didn't have papers.
Yeah,
So you
they're
know
not.
what they had to do? They had to do honest work. They had to pay taxes every year, even if they already knew, like, we're not gonna get nothing back, but we still gotta file our taxes. We still gotta do what we can. We still gotta get our card. They got their green card, and years later they got their residency. After residency, they got their citizenship. Nonetheless, they have never taken a dollar from the government. So no, they did deserve all the help in the world, and they still didn't
probably
get it.
shoulda got help.
Okay, so therefore,
But-
answer your own question.
But do we ask for help ever between
Yes,
us?
and you get denied.
I don't ask for help.
You get denied. But what was your question?
My question is, okay, and I see this on a daily basis, Max. Okay, in my line of work, which is construction, and I'm the boss, and a
We're
white
not talking
person
about your
walks
line
out.
of
All right,
construction.
well, anyway,
What was your question?
my question is,
Let him finish.
is-
Because he doesn't know the story.
listen,
either.
listen. If
What's your
how can I
question?
say this without
No,
you guys
just repeat
getting
the
mad at me?
question. Just
I'm gonna
repeat
blow
the
you-
question.
Steven,
You
You're gonna
already
get mad at me
said.
right now, and then I already
Repeat
know
it.
the comments
Repeat
are
it,
gonna
repeat
blow
it.
up.
No, I'm gonna. Oh no. Okay. Let
'Cause
me.
look,
no, Steven.
Look, when you look at me, and
Before
when
you
we
make
look-
your statement,
Okay.
okay? Before you make your statement, I'm gonna ask you a series of questions. Who do you think is more likely to get into USC or Harvard with the same exact grades, you or me?
you.
Wrong.
Well, they would probably have to make an ethic background to make a couple numbers to do. Okay, let's talk about Edison. Why aren't
No,
they
don't
hiring?
change- no,
why
don't
aren't they hiring
change
Mexicans
the
anymore?
subject.
Steven, I'm being dead serious.
Okay, what?
Okay? All right, answer the question, you or me.
I believe white people have an advantage in the world.
That wasn't my question, Steven.
So I think I said
Stop
white
deflecting.
people. White people would get in there.
No, you didn't. Okay, I said my question was you or I. If we had the same grades,
You
and
would
we
get
bu-
in before me.
wrong.
Why would that? Be?
Affirmative action.
Affirmative action.
Yes.
That's the difference.
Yes.
Your color has the
because your
advantage.
color gets you in before me because I'm white.
But the only reason why they do that is because they try to break the statistics
Make a
of
quota.
Okay.
The white man.
of the
Okay,
school.
hold
but
on.
let's
No,
not. Let's
stop.
put that aside.
Okay, I'm gonna
Let's just
prove a
be-
point right now. Give me a second. Okay. Do you think a black kid or a white kid that has me having straight A's, and let's say that black kid has maybe B's, do you think he gets in before I do at Harvard or USC?
It depends how good of an athlete he is. Because
Wow.
athletes get
What?
special.
He's not an athlete.
As
Steven.
athletes
What the
get
fuck?
better. Athlete get better.
Not an athlete. just a
If
regular
I'm an
student.
athlete, I get my classes first for everybody.
Yes. No. Yeah.
So I get
yeah.
to pick my classes before a normal person at school
Non-athlete. We're
does.
talking
Okay,
about
but
two
Steven,
students.
hold on. I'm not.
I'm just saying.
I'm saying no athlete.
nothing-
no nothing.
okay.
Okay.
Okay,
You or me?
you, Max. I'm gonna
Wrong.
say white people all the time.
Okay. Wrong.
Look, okay, how about this? Okay, me and Vanessa go to your job interview. She's white, I'm Hispanic. And we go in, we have the same exact resume. Who are you hiring?
Whoever's bilingual. You wanna know why? More money. More money.
I was literally about to say that.
More money. More money.
Listen,
I will
he wait?
always.
Hold on,
I will
hold on.
always-
She's
I'll
I
legal.
need to prove my point
hold on.
real quick.
She has papers. She's here from the
Vanessa,
citizen.
can
I'm
you-
not, but I'm willing to do the job for $20 less. Who are you hiring? Me, right?
The person who wants to do less. Yeah, that's a dumbass question.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. And they see us as less people. We're like, you know how hard it is for someone of an ethic
That was not his-
That's why
base?
there's unions.
By the way.
I know. And I figured that out because I'm union now. Because we don't get the set rate, bro.
No.
There's people that I know that can't do half the what we can do, but because they're white or
You,
they
know, you
look.
do realize I was a union iron worker.
I know that, but what I'm saying is you
And I
guys are
got-
blind
No, but
at
I'm gonna tell
how
you the-
hard it is for someone of a different ethnic backbone to make it.
Do you know what the people get looked at as like a lot of white dudes in the construction trades?
Most of them look like they're in charge.
No, most of them get called lazy and pieces of shit.
They are lazy and pieces of shits.
I wasn't.
He wasn't. He
No,
was
I'm not saying
special.
all of them are pieces
Yeah,
of
not
shit
all
back.
of them.
I'm
But
just
mostly
saying,
but
if you
mostly
walk on
the
my job
other
site,
part knows how to do
a
the job better.
superintendent
Exactly.
isn't going to come to me. They
That's
come
why,
to my white people.
and I'm gonna be very different with you, Steven, because I've had to earn everything I got. I was
I'm
not
not
all
saying you're
Hispanic.
giving.
No, okay. What I'm telling you is that I've seen both sides of the coin. I've been discriminated against on my own fucking job site.
My question was, do you think you guys have an advantage?
No.
Yes, you do.
Maybe
You have an
maybe
advantage the
30
moment you
years
walk in the
ago,
building.
Yeah, but not no more. The
Man,
white
we're
man
gonna have
is
to
now
get
the
someone else in the
minority,
site here.
baby.
We're gonna have to get someone
Why
else.
do you think he married a Mexican?
Steven,
Because he has good taste.
No,
Steven, you
because
saw
he-
where I grew up.
I'm
needs
not
help.
saying you, Max, personally.
Okay,
needs a
but
little-
then
He's
You're
not
taking it
majority
personally. I'm talking about
anymore.
as a
Needs a little
wide
spice in his
spectrum.
life.
okay,
For real.
but I'm gonna we're gonna go back to the statistics and we're gonna go back to my
I
questions.
know you, Max, and I know that you are a hard worker. All I'm saying is someone that isn't a hard worker and that they don't know either one of the people, they're gonna lean towards someone they
No.
feel more confident
Steven.
and
Okay,
comfortable
but
with.
you can, okay, but your very first
challenging
question
him.
that prompted this discussion was, do you think that everybody is equal? And I'm going to tell you, yes. And I'm going to tell you
That's a very understand because
They want you to think that everyone's equal, but the way that some people, not all, but some people sometimes they go about it of hiring people, even treating people in their normal day lives, because we've seen videos online on TikTok, on Instagram, that people just get shit talked because of their color
I'm gonna
of
be
skin.
Jonelle on here.
Then-
I'm gonna
then
get
yes.
Jonelle down here. See what he says. You and Jonelle would go back and forth.
I know we would, but here's the fucked up part.
Jonelle Hughes, you know what I'm talking
Okay.
about.
Now, my thing is this. You said is the United States equal? And I'm going to tell you yes. And the reason why I'm telling you yes is because even though if I'm a white kid and I grew up in a middle class, yes, I have a little bit more of a network in order to be successful, right?
Okay, I'm glad.
Okay.
I'm glad you admitted that.
The
Okay.
resources.
Okay, but middle class, it doesn't matter. Anybody who's in middle class has a little bit more of a network to be successful. Now let's take a kid from the fucking ghetto. Let's say fucking Nickerson Gardens in fucking LA. Okay?
Okay.
Okay, if he decides to get an education, half
work
decent, work hard,
Keyword.
and
can make
then, okay, hold on.
Besides.
We all, as our generation, got fed the big lie: go to college, go to college, go to college, go to college.
Yes.
That's the only way you could be successful. It's a lie.
It is.
Okay, that's the big lie. Now
It's debt.
Now let's
that
be.
is.
Now let's. Okay, is there more scholarships for white dudes or more scholarships for Hispanics and blacks?
Probably Hispanics and blacks.
Okay,
We're more
stop.
athletic.
Full stop.
No, I'm just kidding.
Okay. Now let's say when a kid is black and the kid is white from a middle class, and the one kid they have the same grades, but one's from the ghetto, one's middle class. Who do you think is getting in? That black kid, because of fucking affirmative action. Okay. So now, hold on. Now let me tell you this: everybody has the same fucking opportunity as anybody else to become successful. Anybody. It all depends on how much you want to fucking put in it.
What I was saying. Everybody
some-
has
no,
the same
sometimes
24
they-
hours.
people are getting
What
hired too,
what my
so
question
people have to
was,
work for it.
do you think you have it a little bit of an edge? Do you think the world isn't created equal? It isn't. It isn't. We do have the same 24 hours though.
Okay, we do.
But we might have to grind a little bit more.
Okay, yeah, but okay. Do you think do you think people need to capitalize on their strength and
Okay,
strengths in order to be successful?
Yes, absolutely. But do I think that I have it harder from growing up than a Mexican kid in Paramount? No, I think I had a little bit easy road because I
Okay.
had a good dad that moved out of the city and made a decision to make a better life for us.
Choice. There it is.
Choice.
Keyword.
That was my dad's choice.
Choice.
But if say I grew up in Lakewood or in Paramount, I probably would end up a fucking
You
cholo
don't
on
know
the
that.
side just like every other Mexican.
Maybe you would want a better life. You don't know that. Maybe you would do whatever it takes to get out of that.
I wouldn't know
At the end of
that.
the day, you and your dad have the same thing in common. You made a choice. You chose to be a present father no matter what, and you chose to be a good husband. At the end of the day, the common factor within all of us is free will, which means we all have a choice.
And so, and I'm gonna-
but you know how
That's
hard it
why
is to
people
get out
from
of
the
your
ghetto
environment?
make it
It's
to the
very
NFL.
tough.
It's not.
That's
You can
why
join the
people from
military
ghetto
very
become
fucking quick.
You
educated,
could, but
and they
that's
get
more of like a
amazing careers.
suburb
That's
thing.
why
You think people in the ghetto think that
suburbs
much about
do
it?
the same
Yeah,
thing.
Angel Cortez.
It's
I'm
all
not
a
saying. I'm
choice.
sure there's individuals, but what I'm
all a
saying
choice.
is,
But my thing is this:
is that I'm not going to pretend that I had this extremely hard life that I didn't have advantages that other kids didn't. That's what I'm
That's true.
saying.
Coming from a
And guess what?
generation.
There's
That's
people
what I'm
that
saying.
are doing better off than you that started from nothing. You want to know why? because they
That's
made a
true, too.
choice.
I understand that but what I'm saying is
It's what I'm actually saying is that it's anything is possible. For
I'm not
anyone,
saying
matter
everybody has
how
the same
high you
24
start,
hours.
No matter how low you start, it doesn't
Everybody
matter where
has
you
the same
start.
24
It's
hours.
where
I'm gonna tell you-
fucking
hold on.
my
finish.
question
Hold on,
was,
real quick.
I didn't say could you make it if you were from the ghetto.
You're saying
My
that he has an
question was,
advantage.
do you think everybody is created equal in this
Yes.
country?
God made us all equal.
God did,
made
but
us
not
all
this country.
Like in His image.
But
So
in
yes.
America,
You guys are not.
Everybody
You're
has
missing
a-
the question. You guys are missing the question here. I'm not saying can anybody make it in any ethnic background. All I'm saying is that this country, we all have the same 24 hours, but we have a difficult process of where we grow up. We all have different advantages that we have to succeed in a faster way,
Okay, so
or
what's
in
the
a
point?
in a lot of obstacles that does delay our success
So what
because of our
how
environment.
does that tie into needing help from the government and those needing it more than
I'm
others? Because
saying
that's where
that not
question came
everybody
from.
is created equal. That's what I'm saying. Everybody has advantages in their life that they use to propel them to be successful or be the person who they are.
Okay, let me ask you this: do you think everybody has the same opportunities in this country?
Yes,
Then we're all equal.
but do you have the same advantages? Is that what you said, or opportunities?
Opportunities.
You have the same opportunities if you're in the environment for them.
Okay,
If I can't be a realtor unless I found out the environment and got part of that group. I can't become an electrician unless I met someone that helped me make me
you
into
can
that
look
area.
up Google. Everybody can't have
Back
the
then,
phone.
we didn't
The
really have
government gives
internet.
out free
We didn't
phones,
have-
and
Kids
you
have
can
it now
search
easier than
Google
we
and
did.
search
Hell yeah,
electrician.
Max. That's
Everybody
yes.
has
I'm
that option now.
all I'm saying back is
Yeah, like-
I grew up recording fucking tapes on radios to make my playlist. Okay, I had cassette tapes. Okay, we didn't have the internet. Internet was just made when we were growing
And yet
up.
we still did
So we
it.
couldn't just Google and apply to a career and online like, oh, I want to go work at Amazon. How do I do that? Oh, let's go look. No, we didn't
Yeah,
have
then
that.
it comes
We had to
back to
go
the
to
type
the
of
store,
resources.
meet the owner, and apply
There's
like
so
everybody
many-
else.
It's a little okay.
Okay, I guess when
Now
I'm
he
in
wants to
college,
get
no one would
technical.
hire
Let's
me.
get technical now.
Fuck, when I got my ET card, no one would hire me. No one. I went to 3 job interviews with 2 of my buddies. They were both white. They both got hired. I didn't.
Did you know somebody at the company?
I don't know. I don't know that part. But guess what? They got hired. And what was I doing? Knocking door to door. My wife was pregnant because I couldn't find a job.
And that made you a better man for it.
No, what I'm saying is that people look at you and they judge you in this country. And whether you're black, white,
you
or
don't know-
Mexican,
but you don't know
it
what
does
kind-
make a difference.
But look,
does.
it made you a better
It
man
does.
for it. Here's the thing.
I'm not saying that it's not good for me.
God had that path for you.
I just want you
though, and
guys
it
to
made
know
you
not
such a
everybody
great
has the
man for it.
opportunities you and your family does.
Hey.
And which is not a problem. It's not a bad
not,
thing.
because coming from a
I'm
first
just saying,
generation, you're either too American or you're
too
not.
or you're not American enough.
Yeah.
Me, look at, I don't have no accent. I have no Spanish background. When they look at me, they think I'm white, Max.
But
They
when
hear
they
me
see your
talk.
last name,
They're like, "Oh, what's up, man? I love you, Skyler. Oh, look at this guy. Esteban.
Skyler.
His name's Esteban." You know, like I see it every day, bro.
But my thing is this.
And I'm not saying you're like that, Max, because you're an awesome
no,
guy. You're not like that.
not
I'm
everyone
just
is
saying.
like
You know what's funny? Like you're talking about this aspect of your life, but I don't think you realize, and I didn't realize until I saw him in it.
You can attack everything.
You need to get things done.